Okay, so we are in the cockpit here of the 320i. So let's take it for a little test drive here. It feels really good. It feels like I've driven a 228 recently, and it certainly feels a lot like that. Same amount of room for me as a larger individual. And it feels really nice. Steering's nice and tight. Obviously, it's a brand new car. And it goes. I mean, it's not obviously a huge engine or the quickest on earth, but it certainly gets you to where you want to go relatively quickly and in a pretty efficient manner. It drives like you would expect a BMW to drive, and I actually really enjoy it. It's a good car, great for your daily sort of commute if that's what you're buying it for. And like I said, in my opinion, it's certainly a nice ride. And even I've always been a fan of the 3 Series, even though I'm a big guy and I like to have a bigger car. This is actually quite a bit of room. This is a lot of room for me as somebody who obviously needs a little bit more space, and I certainly don't have any issues with space. I like it. Now the xDrive works really well. I've driven a couple cars with xDrive in the winter, and they're really good. And this car is pretty good with it as well. Considering that a lot of non-luxury cars, do not have an all-wheel drive option. The fact that the BMW does is quite nice. And it's obviously the only option for the 320i. You cannot get the rear wheel version unless you get the 340. So it comes with all-wheel drive standard, which is really nice for the winters, especially up here in Canada. It's rear wheel drive biased, and then obviously when it detects that it needs a little bit of extra traction, then it'll kick on to about 50-50 distribution for the front and the back. And it works really well. I like it. I mean, it's been nice to try to throw it around and try to do some fun stuff with it, and it just won't do it because even with traction control off in Sport Plus mode, I gotta say the xDrive really is a pretty solid system. So I definitely like it. If you're buying this car for for your family, you want to be safe, then this is certainly a good choice for you. So we're just gonna pull in around here, and then we'll bring her back in. Now, I can't test the auto on off because I'm not really in enough traffic, but a lot of people don't like it. I've used it a few times. I wouldn't keep it on. Essentially what it does is when you come up to traffic, it'll stop the engine, and then it'll automatically start it back up when you take your foot off the brake. And I find it's really not that smooth because you're starting the engine. And I mean, I haven't really looked into the whole way it works. I don't know the technology behind it, but I just imagine it's going to be a strain on your alternator and your battery to continuously start and stop all the time. So I know a lot of people don't use it. I don't use it. It's turned off on this car, and I think that's kind of the way it is. And I think it's more of a regulatory reason why BMW puts it in. But pretty much all of the new cars have that feature. Just nobody uses it. And then the last thing that we'll show you here, which you should be able to see on the screen, park distance, unlike in the older cars, is on all the time when you're going a certain speed. So in my car, when you put the car in reverse in the E38, it'll turn on all 8 sensors front and back, and will beep as you get close to something. It's great if you're backing into stuff, but if you're driving and pulling into a parking spot, you kind of want to be able to have those going. So the new system, which has been around for a while, for I think pretty much all the iDrive cars now for BMW, is under a certain speed, it'll just be on all the time. So if you're pulling up to a traffic light and somebody comes too close behind you, it'll beep. And then same thing here as we pull into the driveway. We're gonna pull up nice and close to the garage door, and it'll just switch over And that's about it. You push the park brake. I like to use the parking brake, or the e-brake, even though a lot of people don't anymore. I still like it, and it helps your transmission not fall apart. So that's essentially a little test drive here in the 320i with xDrive. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed the review for this car. If you have any questions, just leave a comment below. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the video, and let us know what else you'd like to see. I'm trying to get my hands on some cars, so if you're in the Niagara area, Niagara or Hamilton or Halton or even Mississauga, I'll make my way up there. If you've got a BMW that you'd like us to review, shoot me a message. We would prefer them to be stock. Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with a modified car, but for our purposes, we're trying to show what the cars are essentially from the factory. So if you've got a pretty factory fresh car and you'd like us to review it, then let me know. Send me a message. Follow us on Twitter at Possibly Awesome, and send us a message there if you want us to come out and take a look at your car and do a quick review on it. But until next time, thanks for watching. I'm Niall with Possibly Awesome.